Check, check, quick sound check. Can everybody hear us loud and clear? What's going on, Coach Paul?
I hear you loud and clear, Coach Jay, on FOMC day.
Happy FOMC day. Happy Big Tech Earnings Day. Happy Wednesday, everybody. Welcome to At the Buzzer, our market recap. If this is your first time here, the goal of this segment is to review what happened in the markets for the day. We may talk about some markets that you have not traded before, but we believe our goal as traders is to identify opportunity. We want to see how we can take advantage of those opportunities while managing our risk. If this is our first time meeting, I'm Coach Jay, the Topstep performance coach since June of 2023, and that is Coach Paul. Coach Paul, go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hey, I'm Coach Paul. I've been with Topstep since April of 2023. I've been trading futures for 40 years, and I'm here to share some of my experience, some wisdom, and hopefully help you become a better trader.
Awesome stuff. Thank you for that, Coach Paul. You are all our chat, our audience. I can already see some of you taking advantage of some of this post-market, post-close price action. I'm going to bring up a trading view chart up here because we got a candle. Watch out, Coach Paul. The candle's about to hit you in the head, man. Watch it. Get out of there.
It just went right through me. You talk about a bad stop.
If you're wondering what...
Stop.
Yeah, right. If you're wondering what that is Microsoft after earnings today. Microsoft reported earnings. Estimated earnings per share came out at $3. Estimate was $3.92. Earnings per share came out at $5.16. Revenue came in at $81.27. Estimates were $80.31. Sorry, revenue came in at $81.27 billion. $81.27 billion. Estimates were $80.31 billion. And cloud revenue came in at $32.91 billion. Estimates were $32.39 billion. So sounds like a beat on revenue on revenue and earnings per share, but maybe not as much as the market expected. Because down pretty big here. Microsoft is down right now about 6.5%. Closed the market right around $482. And is trading at $449. If you're wondering why we're talking about Microsoft, why we're going to talk about Meta just a little bit, and Tesla as well. Microsoft, Meta, Tesla, 3 of the Mag 7. And again, as these stocks go, the NASDAQ is going to go as well. Some of the heaviest weighted components of the NASDAQ and the S&P. So again, as those go, the markets we trade are going to go as well. Microsoft was trading at $481 and again, trading at $452 right now. Pretty negative there. We got Meta out as well. We got all 3 out.
Well, yeah.
Go ahead, Coach Paul.
I was just saying Meta came out and beat their earn on advertising. Thank you, Courtney.
We got Meta. Earnings per share came in at $8.88. Estimates were $8.19 versus $8.02 year over year. Revenues came in at $59.89 billion. Estimates were $58.42 billion. They beat on their advertising revenue, family of apps revenue. They beat there as well. Meta, family of apps, Instagram, Facebook. What else is there?
The whole world of social media.
Pretty much, right? What don't they own in social media? Operating income up 5.9%, $24.75 billion. Saw a knee-jerk reaction to the downside in Meta. Looks like that's already being reconciled, trading at $686.25. Closed the market right around $671. We saw it trade down to $637 and right back up $50 from there. See where these markets are in relation to their all-time highs. Pretty far off of it in both Meta and Microsoft. We got IBM. IBM also coming out in about a minute, man. They packed a lot into this day, right?
Yeah, and they waited for FOMC.
Right. Tesla as well. We got Tesla reporting as well.
What-
Go ahead, Coach.
Oh, I was just going to say that should come out in a minute here. We're
IBM
holding steady in the indices.
IBM should be out in just a minute, but we got Tesla. Earnings per share came in at 50 cents. Estimates were 45 cents. Revenues came in at 24.9 billion. Estimate was 25.11 billion, so a slight miss there. Operating income 1.41 billion. Estimates were 1.32 billion, so a little bit more operating income there. Tesla responding favorably here after again all of these stocks similar to the NASDAQ. Honestly, they have been in this range. We did make an all-time high in Tesla not too long ago in December. We've pulled back off that all-time high and slightly up on its earnings here. Can't forget about Starbucks. Starbucks is tomorrow, I believe. Starbucks and Apple both report tomorrow. For all of the MacBook users that spend half their day in a Starbucks, we'll see how they both do tomorrow. It's funny that they're both reporting tomorrow. Cannot go into a Starbucks without seeing somebody with a MacBook.
Or everyone.
Right. Yeah. No Lenovo's sitting in a Starbucks. Doesn't happen. Doesn't
All
happen.
right.
All right. So that's what we have for our big earnings. Again, Microsoft looks like they beat earnings per share and revenue. Pretty aggressive move to the downside, and this is why you kind of have to just pay attention to what the markets are going to do, because you would think, right? One would think, Coach Paul, good earnings means positive, right? Oh, Starbucks was this morning. Seen it different on different calendars, but Starbucks was this morning.
Were you at Starbucks when it came out?
I was
And
not.
you missed it?
I was
Okay.
not. I haven't walked into a Starbucks in a little while.
No, neither have I. I prefer Dunkin' Donuts.
Yeah. Yeah. Starbucks was this morning though. How'd they do? How'd you do, Starbucks? Let's pull up the chart. From this chart, looks like they did great and then gave it all back. Ended the day right where
What
it started.
what time did that come out? Was it pre?
This looks like 7:45 Eastern time, so 6:45 Central.
Yeah, before the New York Open.
Yep.
Interesting. In a thin market
Yeah.
without liquidity.
Yep.
It'd be interesting to see what did it do at 9:30 on the New York Stock Exchange Open.
This is that candle right here. It spiked up and no follow through and sold right back off. Sold right back off. So earnings similar to, news, right? The Fed news that we had out earlier. The one thing we know is that it's going to cause volatility. The one thing we don't know is how the markets are going to respond. I'm looking at Starbucks numbers right now. Earnings per share came in at 56 cents. Estimates were 58 cents. Revenue came in at 9.9 billion. Estimates were 9.65 billion. So beat on revenue, missed on earnings per share slightly. Knee-jerk reaction to the upside. Volume comes in, trades us right back down. So these moves that we're seeing in Meta, in Microsoft, in Tesla, we have to see when that volume comes in tomorrow and through the rest of the week, how it responds to this overnight action. Because again, this is all happening in low volume, low liquidity, and a response to the earnings, right? There is still the earnings calls that need to happen, forward guidance and things like that. But again, knee-jerk reaction, we're already seeing, Microsoft kind of recover. Not halfway yet, but pretty close to halfway of that move. Pretty big move there. We're going to switch over to Topstep X charts and take a look at what the NASDAQ did in relation to that, NASDAQ and the S&P. Look here.
Okay.
Who's invested in any of these companies? Let us know in the chat. Just curious. We'll get
Aren't we,
into charts.
aren't we all at one point?
I mean,
Whether you own a 401k, a mutual fund, whatever,
right.
it's got a piece of it.
Yeah, 100%. So here we go. We got the NASDAQ sold off, tested that 26,000 level. This is all after the close. This was more price action than the New York session in
Okay.
about 15 minutes or so.
Now there was some volume, selling volume right on the close.
Yes,
We're
there was.
above all that. We have a J trade on volume soon.
Hmm.
So not unexpected when we're waiting for the news to come out. News
Yeah.
came out. Now we have direction on volume. So let's look at the half hour.
Let's take a look at the half hour. Eddie P in the chat says, I have a personal position in Meta dating back 10 years. Nice trade there. You don't even care what's happening with Meta right now. You're sitting pretty, my friend. Sitting pretty. I remember, I think Meta stock was it was Facebook stock at the time. One of my best friends said, buy it. It was $17. And I bought it, and I'm just like, I was like
How
young,
do they make money?
not using Facebook anymore. Exactly. How do they make any money? Sometimes you got to listen to your friend. Sometimes you got to listen to your friend. Let's go over the quote board really quick, and then we'll get right into these markets. We did have a Fed rate decision today. No surprise, Fed kept rates the same. No cut there. We'll talk a little bit more about that. But biggest percentage movers right now to the downside, we had the Russell down 0.52%. We had cattle down 1.63%, and natural gas, our biggest percentage mover to the downside, down 1.73%. To the upside, we had gold making new all-time highs, 5.82% to the upside. Platinum up 6.33% to the upside, and silver, our biggest percentage mover, did not make that all-time high just yet, but up 9.88% on the day. To talk about our big four, we got crude oil up 1.67% on the day. Call? Nice call. The S&P up 0.02% on the day. Heard that correct. 0.02%. We already talked about gold up 5.78% on the day, and the NASDAQ up 0.46% on the day. Let's go back to the NASDAQ here, Coach Paul. On the 30-minute, what are we seeing here?
Okay, so last night we had a nice rally. We had buying drifted up. Notice we follow VWAP, and then we closed above the session VWAP just before, I believe, what was it? Just before the U.S. or the New York Open, or was it right after? But well, after we closed under, we got under the 200. That the white line is the 200, right?
That is correct. That white line
Yeah,
is. Oh no, it's not. No, it's not. I gotta change these. My bad.
I was gonna
Give me
say, I
one
thought that
second
was
here.
where we're above it most of the day.
There we
Uh,
go.
All right, but we got under session VWAP and had a nice, you know, pretty non-random move to the downside. Earnings. And people ask why we can't trade after 3 o'clock. Well, this is why. You think, we've talked about this before. This is a wild action, and it's after the settlement.
Yep.
It's professional. Most it's very thin. But look what we have here on that break. We have a nice tail.
Good sign.
Very positive. Yeah, good sign. Right at the session VWAP. Well, I think tonight could be explosive night to the upside.
Yeah, what I'm seeing here in the Nasdaq, I love that this tail here rejects right at 26,000. 26,000 has been such a major level of resistance in the Nasdaq going back, through January. even into December. We've traded above 26,000 a bunch of times, and we have not been able to sustain price above it. We traded above it last night, sustained above it, and then this candle comes down and tests it with this wick. If this is all rejection, that's a great sign for the NASDAQ.
Yeah,
That is a great
especially
sign.
yeah, we're still trending. We're looking at the daily. It's very positive, breaking out of that rotation we've been in
Yep.
since October. Very friendly action. I mean, this looks bullish to me. Above the 20 and the 50, we've gotten through news events, FOMC, we've gotten past major earnings, and we're holding tight. So, very friendly chart.
Yeah. Very friendly for sure. Let's take a look at the shorter time frame. And let us know how you did in the chat. Thank you all for tuning in today. Let us know how you did. Were you up on the day, down on the day? Anything that you learned from today? Did you follow your plan? You hold a position into the Fed? Honestly, it's hard to kind of tell where the Fed rate decision was. I think the metals have
Well,
everyone's attention, and everything else is taking a backseat, even the Nasdaq.
yeah, well, it's very dramatic if you can
It
afford
is.
to even trade it. But what's the date of? Well, we don't have to add silver yet. Let's look at this. The Nasdaq right now. Great. Wow. We have a J trade. It's selling exhaustion
Hmm.
on on the on the close over session VWAP. Wow. What's to hold it back?
Yeah. Yeah, this high right here, 26,167. This J trade that Coach Paul is talking about. Highest volume of the day. Of course, it happened on the close, but when those earnings are coming out as well, if this area holds here, I think we're talking about all-time highs in the Nasdaq pretty soon. Pretty soon here. Interesting day in the Nasdaq. Again, it's Fed day. We talked about this during the opening call, but 26,300 was a level we were looking at and saying, the Nasdaq traded above 26,300 round number level, but volume never went above. Right, price advertised above. This VWAP, this red line, never traded above there. And when the volume came in for the New York session, came up, tested 26,300, and just kind of fell apart. I was actually surprised to see this much price action. A 200 point sell off before the Fed. But it was just the Nasdaq kind of testing right back into the range. Fed candles, this one. Here's the rate decision. Not really, again,
Muted. Very muted.
very muted.
I mean, this was the most expected non-rate change I think I've ever seen in my decades.
Yeah.
Um,
Did you listen to the press conference after?
Off and on, but
Okay.
I took some notes that I got. I mean, Powell is being very neutral
Yeah.
while standing his ground. He keeps talking about data dependency, which I love, but I'm not the chairman,
Yeah.
which you expect your banker to do. Um, so he does mention, he did mention, I never quoted where it was independence.
Yeah. You
So
mentioned your boy.
uh, yeah, he's standing firm. I bet you he was a great trader. But there is no aggressive pivot. I imagine there's internal strife in the Fed itself, jockeying for position, but very neutral. Like I said, nothing new. Very staid. So he's no Paul Volcker. Otherwise, we'd have
He
at
mentioned
least
him.
10% interest rate.
He mentioned Volcker.
He did mention it. I didn't see that part.
The market sold off just a little bit when he said that. Uh, Sold off just a little, and then it was like, okay, we're right back up. We're seeing the Nasdaq right now even push up after these earnings. But Dresh has a question: Why was this drop? Why did this drop even though all three beat the earnings forecast? Exactly what we were just talking about, Dresh. Right? There's what we think can happen, we think should happen, and what actually happens. Companies are going to release their earnings. And what we trade is not what we expect to happen, not what we think should happen, but what is actually happening. And that's what the market decided to do. Uh, I've been trading for 14 years now, and the more I think something should happen, the less likely it is to happen uh, before it's happening. Right? If I'm reading the flow of the market in real time, then I can say, hey, to a high probability, I expect this to happen. But why does the market sell off initially on good earnings? It does. It's never made sense to me. It's
What if
maybe they're not as good as expected, but it's never made sense. So I've actually stopped trying to make sense of it. Go ahead, Coach Paul.
usually your earnings come out outside of New York trading hours?
Yeah.
It's very, very thin.
Yep.
So then you get volatility from the news, and the market is thin. What does that mean? There's market makers are put their hands down, and what's left? The people who have to make a trade. As you get time past that news event, you can make better decisions. That's why we recommend not trading in front of the news. So it's thin, big news comes in, it exacerbates that thinness. We say it time and again here. It's important to how it reacts to the news. So that you can consider that break a knee jerk reaction.
Right.
Now, the news came out after the New York close, after we're closed, the 3 o'clock
Mm-hmm.
close. It's kind of a bullish reaction when you
Very
look.
bullish.
There's the news. It's very, very bullish.
No follow through on that knee jerk.
So if we look at that's the close of New York, and we look at the candle after when the news came out, we have urgency to buy.
Yep.
So look for the candle after the close, and then you'll
Or
get,
after the
like we
news.
said, after the news. That's what I mean.
Yeah.
Look
Let
after the
let the
news
let the
and
dust
see the
settle.
reaction.
If you looked at any other at the buzzer segment the day before a big CPI number or anything like that, it's exactly what we're going to look at. Right? We let the dust settle from the news, and then the real trade is what happens after the fact. Right? Because that order book is going to start to fill up again. Traders are going to start to, the market makers have to put their orders back on. They're going to do that as well. And then we get to see what the market's response is. Right now, very bullish. Chris, I like this question, Chris. Somebody asked me this question earlier in Discord. And I think I've found my permanent answer to this question. Chris asks, how many years till you were both consistently profitable? For me, it took 6 years. I was doing a lot of stuff that I thought was good trading. It was luck in the beginning. I was making money. I wasn't consistent because right after my luck ran out, it was years of trying to figure out what the hell happened and why I can't make any money. But consistently profitable is an action. Um, and it's something that you have to do every day. You don't just become consistently profitable and stay there. That doesn't happen for anybody. So, however long it takes you to learn how to be consistent in a process, right? And it's not even consistently profitable. Are you consistently following the same process every day? Right. That's the first place to start because somebody could look at it and say, "Oh yeah, well I'm making money. I've made money for 8 months." Get lucky for 8 months. You can get lucky for a year, Coach Paul.
Yeah, that was going to be my answer.
Right.
It took, it took me about 5 years to understand how to trade. Now, in those 5 years, I had decent years and some losing years, but I didn't know the difference between good trading and being lucky. And then I got whacked, and I couldn't trade for a year in between that. I
Oh yeah.
wouldn't.
Yeah.
Said I can't go through that. So what the bottom line is, I had to learn how to manage my account, not manage my expectations.
Yep.
So yeah, it's you could have some good years. Actually, you could have profitable years, but to be consistent, it takes time.
For
You
sure.
have to develop good habits.
Yeah. Uh, What's the quote? It's easy to make money. It's harder to keep it. That was the biggest lesson for me to learn. Biggest lesson for me to learn. Learn risk management. And actually, in my first probably 6 years of trading, I had no idea what risk management was. I'll be honest. It sounds crazy, but no idea. No money management, risk management just were not a thing. Had to learn that. Had to learn that. And Chris, you said you're at 7 years and pissed. Take notes. Take notes from what you're pissed at. What's a pain point? Where's an opportunity to fix? Probably not a strategy thing. You probably know enough at this point that you're 7 years in that you don't need to add another indicator, another strategy, any of that. Probably need to learn how to manage yourself and your accounts. That would be my guess. That, from my experience, that's what it was, and that's what it continues to be, right? And that's an ongoing thing against an action every single day to make the right decisions over time. Let's take a look at the S&P really quick. Very similar to the NASDAQ, made a new all-time high, though, last night,
To the
70.43.
moon, Alice.
Yeah, this is looking pretty good.
Um,
This is looking pretty good.
yeah, it does. I mean, like we just said, something could, I shouldn't say what's gonna bring it down. It has to be something large, but look at the volume on this rally.
Yeah, it's not there.
Yeah, and volatility is coming in.
Yep,
So very friendly chart at this point.
for
Something
sure.
could change overnight. Don't. This is one thing I learned in my years of learning how to trade. I- Leave your predictive mind and become an observer and execute a plan. So anything, but at its moment, this is very bullish. So 30-minute chart. Let's put that 200 moving average, the white line.
Haha. Man, that's
What's
extremely
that
bullish
white
there.
line?
All things, considered, right? If nothing changes, that's extremely bullish in the S&P. Wow. What is that white line, chat? Who knows? I know we got some new viewers in here. If you're a new viewer at the buzzer, shout it out in the chat. Let us know. But if you've been here for a day, what is that white line? Courtney?
Yeah.
What is that white line?
What was the name of that character? Oh, he just died.
Yeah,
The
he
actor.
did. Yeah, he did.
He was awesome. 200 SMA, not the I don't know. The EMA could be the same. Two Benjamins.
Isaiah
I
Whitlock.
like that one.
That is
Okay.
the 200 moving average on the 30-minute chart, 69.77 traded to the tick. It's the money line, says Genius Monkey.
So the
Again,
money
anything
line.
we say here is for educational purposes only, not any trading or investment advice. But that could be considered the money line. This is on a 30-minute chart. It's at 200 moving average. Traded it to the tick. Again, this did this on lowish volume.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a decent sign to me there. We'll see if it sustains.
With a big wick.
Yeah.
We saw that the last time we tested the 200 on Sunday night with that gap. It's just almost the
Oh
same
yeah. Yep.
size wick. What is that, a hammer?
Yep. Look at that run.
If I had a hammer, I'd buy it. So anyway, nice action. Another thing is we're above today's session VWAP. We were below it from the opening. So this is a very positive response
Very positive.
to a big news day.
Absolutely. Really nice push there. 70-18s. Let's talk about it. The Russell. What is that white line? Anybody want to let us know? We man, Coach Paul.
The money line,
The money line does it again. What is this? 3
the
days?
Great Wall.
Second time this week. The money line in the Russell. And we've talked about this. So let's take a look at the Russell on a higher time frame. This market recently, 4 days ago, made all-time highs. We were talking about rotation from tech to whatever's in the Russell. I'm gonna let's pull up a NASDAQ chart next to this. One of the things we mentioned, Coach Paul, was Russell's still a great trade. It was a very clean trade today. Uh,
Yeah.
one of the things we mentioned is if the S&P and the NASDAQ start to find a bid, we could see that rotation go right back out of the Russell. And I don't know why this always does this.
Oh, you have link on?
No, it's not linked. It's just, come on, just show me what I want to see here. This is clearly my fault, but there we go. Okay. So we're starting to see the Nasdaq get a little bit of a bid, maybe making a run to all-time highs. And if that rotation was actually the trade, we're actually seeing the exact opposite in the Russell, right? We're starting to see some selling here. What are you seeing here on the daily in the Russell, Coach Paul?
Well, rotation. We'll be talking about it for a little bit here on both sides. This is a perfect example of rotation. Let's let's frame out the all-time high in the Russell. What date was that?
That was January 22nd.
So let's frame out January 22nd in the NASDAQ.
That was this candle right here. Yeah.
That now, there it is. There's the rotation. Now we started seeing that in the half hour and the opening on the openings. So if we just had the half hour in the 200, the half hour holding underneath the 200 in the Russell, half hour holding in the NASDAQ. Yeah, NASDAQ stayed over the two all day.
Yeah, it didn't even test
So
it.
solid rotation
Yep.
in, and that's institutional. That's not something someone's trading. For But for a while, it was the opposite.
Yeah.
So also known as risk on for larger institutional managers. So great example there.
Yeah,
Wow.
really nice trade in the Russell today. Somebody was actually asking me about this during slow markets last night. They were saying, they wanted to take a long, and the one thing I said is, if you see it, take it. I don't trade the Russell in the overnight, just because it doesn't move as much. But I'm looking at 2694, which was that 200 moving average. Yeah, I should have set an order there, because that was a really nice rejection. It did trade it right on the New York Open. Coach Paul, we got a couple questions, of course. Anytime we bring up
Sure.
this 200 moving average and we get these clear examples, we got a couple questions. Why why do we look at the 200 moving average on a 30-minute? Um, I kind of adopted this from trading with you, but I know you look at it on a multiple time frames. Why is so specific to the 30 in this case?
Well, I've been using it 30 for since I started. Why? The 30-minute candle came from the trading floor. The traders, local traders had to turn in their trades every 30 minutes and it would be computed. So there was information, um, and it was tagged with letters.
Okay.
Bracket A would be the first half hour, bracket B, so on. But in a 30 minutes, it's an intermediate time frame. It's used by a vast amount of traders, especially looking for intermediate term
Yeah.
trend. Um, so it's not it's being used by large traders, small traders, but it's also intermediate. It doesn't you if you look at you want to define an intermediate trend, look at the 200 on the half hour. Take a look at the Nasdaq since we closed above,
Tested it right on that Sunday Open.
right? And now we're turning. So it gives it's a good data.
Yeah.
What's the day we started trading above us? Is that the 22nd?
So this here is, let's see. This here is the 23rd. Day we started trading above it was the 21st. Yeah, so right going into the 22nd. Yeah, we
Going
closed above
into
it on
the
the 21st.
22nd,
Yeah.
where we saw rotation.
Yep.
It's begin. Now, Russell, it was
Closed above it on
playing
the
the
closed below it on the 23rd.
23rd. We come back and test it twice,
Yep.
and we wick there.
Yeah.
Now, the exact reason why the 200 moving average on a daily is used by institutions and large funds. Um,
Yeah.
I mean, when I put it on the 200, I start on the half hour. I started watching it, and it was pretty consistent level. It doesn't,
Yeah.
and more important is when it closes above it, okay. But if VWAP goes over it, it's even better. That means you have price and volume.
Right.
Um, we've been doing this almost 3 years now,
Yeah.
2.5 years. We see the value of it, so I keep my eye on it. Why do you
It
watch it, Coach?
exactly that. I see the value in it, right? And what I want to say, and we jokingly say, "Oh, it's the money line." You still have to have a process to trade it. Is this a blind short, Coach Paul?
No, absolutely not. Well, because when it's selling it at a price, how
Hmm.
much you wicked above it.
Yeah.
But one of the things is we look at that half hour, we wick above it. Now we can create an abstraction, go down to a smaller time frame. 200 on the half hour gives you reference. So at that time when we touched it, like let's say use today, when we touched it,
Yeah.
what
Well,
price was that?
let's focus. Let's just go full screen on the Russell here, because this is actually how you would trade it, right? Or how I would trade it. You still need if the trade idea is a short, to I think you still need a signal to go short, right? You need the market to start to agree with you, because what could also happen at this 200 moving average, the market could just rally right through it. Uh, could just rally right through it. But that price was
Right.
26.94.
So 26.94. Let's bring in a 5 minute.
Let's bring in a 5 minute.
Oh,
So regular trading
okay.
hours only.
And look at that. We get a wick. We don't trade. And what kind of volume is that when we hit it?
Highest volume of the day. We close below it. We get urgency. And if you are a new viewer and you're wondering what we are saying when we say urgency, this red line here is VWAP. We are considering VWAP the market, right? That's the shark. Shark's going to find all the little fish, and there was no fish up here at 26.95. So it has to turn around and go the other way. See how quickly this angle of VWAP leaves this range? The Russell was the cleanest trade today again, even to the downside, out of all four equities. And it's not always going to be this way. It's not going to stay this way. The NASDAQ's starting to catch a bid. If it starts to trend, it can be pretty clean as well. But what I love about the Russell, even if it's not super clean, it's not expensive to trade either, Coach Paul.
No. And it doesn't have a lot of herky jerky action. We just said it's institutional. And if we put a line chart, we could see define that trend. What I mean by when it decides to go, it goes with, and it goes
Yeah,
early, often. So what I mean, there's not much. It's mostly institutional trade. There's not many people that are smaller traders that are trading it per se,
right.
as compared to the Nasdaq.
For sure.
So great trade there, great direction, and buying, selling that, and buying the Nasdaq worked all day.
Yeah. Yeah, Genius Monkey says Russell and Dow are slow. It's easier to cut losses. NASDAQ sometimes give you a light bulb and frozen moments. Yeah,
I like that. Frozen
I
moments.
I agree. The Russell is a lot slower. Still pretty smooth though. It is still pretty smooth for right now. Hopefully it stays this way. But if it doesn't, we'll find where the trend is. But for right now, got to take advantage of it. If we look at the Dow, whoa, that was a mess. That was a mess. Couldn't figure out what to do. The Russell at some point is going to look like this, right? The NASDAQ looked like this for a little bit. The Russell at some point is going to look like this, but for now, it's trending pretty cleanly. All right, let's go to the real show. Gold on the
What's
daily.
that? On the daily.
What are we
I
seeing
mean,
here?
a rocket. What's going to stop this? It Just and look at that. They spent no time on the downside. We were 150. What was it? 130 higher today at one point. 140. What's $10 anymore? But very, very bullish. This is a runaway market. We had we had a J trade on the daily 2 days ago, and it just accelerated this move. Um, I mean, what else is there to say? You know, I don't see the one thing in this whole movement. I see mentioning in the media about gold. I don't see like it's not a mania yet.
I don't know how.
Um, yeah,
I don't know how. How not? How is it? How is it not? But you know, you're right. My parents will usually talk to me about markets and things like that. They haven't mentioned. They haven't mentioned gold. My dad called me the other day when the Dow made new all-time highs. He hasn't mentioned the metals. It's interesting.
yeah,
Are we
very
early?
interesting.
Are we early?
Okay, well, where's that white line anyway?
On the 30-minute, we'll take a look. Billy asked the question, is that the correct daily volume? It is. So this is probably the last day we're going to trade this. This is Feb, right? G is February.
Yeah,
This is the
yeah.
last day we're going to trade this February contract. So gold might have been tough to trade today because of rollover. TopstepX is going to roll over to the April contract tomorrow. Or tonight it should be because April's trading more volume. But yeah, that is the correct daily volume. Super thin market today. Let's take a look at the 30-minute. We're above that 200 moving average. We left
By
that
the way,
behind a long time ago. Go ahead, coach.
the market biggest volume is in the April contract, not the Feb. That's why we're seeing that. It is rollover.
Yep.
So I think the April gold traded like 4 times what the Feb did. So
Yep.
if I look at 1 second, all contract volume, April traded, oh wow, yeah, 400,000 contracts.
We will be rolling over.
So yeah,
And April's trading right now at 54.17. 54.17. So, you know, do
yeah.
your rollover adjustments for prices, but whether you're looking at the
Three,
April contract, you're looking at the physical gold that's sitting in your you know, it's buried in your grandma's backyard, it's all going up. It's all going the same way. Got him again. What did he say this time? This has been a thing now. Getting a little worried. All he did was give out secrets for what gold was doing and rollover. All right. Well, we'll keep going. We tried to be very careful with this time, Coach Hoop. We didn't want to say anything that was gonna alert the authorities. Just a joke, but they got him again. I don't know what happened. But gold urgency early. What do we mean when we talk about urgency? We have the Globex open 8 p.m. or sorry 6 p.m. Eastern time last night, and you know it didn't really start going until Shanghai session open. This is where for me personally, I'm considering gold is officially open. Shanghai session, 8 p.m. Eastern time, is when most of the volume is going to start for the session. And if we attach a VWAP to that, the market never looked back. It left that range early, and was up $190. What's up, Coach Paul? It is the same time every day, isn't it? It is the same time every day. We'll have to investigate this. We'll have to investigate this. Time is a level. 4:47 Eastern time is Coach Paul's level. Uh, we'll have to take a look, but yeah, I mean, right off that Shanghai Open, this 30-minute chart, you had urgency, price and volume leaving that range to the upside. Held view up a couple of times today. I believe no house count did not take an opening range trade, but I mean, second day in a row now we're seeing moves after gold settlement as well. This is $130 after settlement in gold, which is again, this market trades 24/7. That Shanghai Open though, tonight I will be paying attention to it. We're gonna have we should be done with rollover, so we don't have to worry about that. But going down to even a 3-minute chart, 3-minute chart, Shanghai Open sets the low. Why do I go to a 3-minute here? Metals are getting kind of expensive to trade. So if I want to get close to volume and get my trades on earlier with limited risk, I could cut half the risk by going to a shorter time frame. For me personally, I'm not going to go anything lower than a 3-minute, and it still has to have that structure, right? Price, volume, leave this range to the upside. This is actually why I got long silver last night as well. But just a beautiful trade there in gold, and it's barely Wednesday. Yeah, we still got two days left. We see gold at 6. I mean, we've seen 200-point moves. Well, after settlement today, we saw about 120 points. Yesterday, I think it was 80. If gold keeps moving like this, we could be at 6,000 by the end of the week. Anything can happen. This is just insane. Physical products, commodities are not supposed to move like this, but who's to say what's supposed to happen, right? Anything can and will happen. Gold has been on the move for sure. Let's take a look at silver really quick. Silver, a little bit of a different story. And we've seen this as well, right? When gold rallies, silver consolidates. Rallies, gold consolidates. Today it was gold's turn. Maybe tomorrow it's silver's turn. We'll see. But similar trade to gold, just not as aggressive, obviously. Most of the money ran over there to gold. But here's the Globex Open and the Shanghai Open. And if you were watching slow markets last night, when I got on with Coach Dakota, I had a trade right off of VWAP in silver. Silver, although expensive as hell to trade, is to me a very, very good technical trade. What do I mean by that? It respects levels. And I think that's just the DNA of a trending market. It kind of has to respect levels, price structure, and things like that. Here's the Shanghai Open, 8 p.m. Eastern time. Here's volume attached to that. And we didn't get the same urgency as gold, but we did get a pullback and held VWAP perfectly. I just got in long off this VWAP test here. And turned out to be, actually, I think it was this one. I think it was a later test. Yeah, I got in here on this candle. We tested VWAP again. As I was looking at my charts, we had a failure here. I did get in a big contract, and I kind of explained why I got into a big contract there. I was comfortable risking about $1,500 on that trade. It gave me a level that it showed that the market turned around. We had some failed selling right at VWAP. So on this candle here is where I'm getting in. And, maybe I should have held it longer, right? I had to trade up to 116s. I don't think about it that way, especially not in silver with the big contract. If I see profit, I'm going to take it. And I don't worry about what the market did after the fact. How do I hold on to my trades longer? You have to be comfortable holding on to them. And in this case, in silver, I'm not cool holding a trade for 3 hours. Most of my silver trades are about a couple of minutes. And that's good enough for me. You can see some decent profit from that. And we move on and look for maybe some slower moving markets to actually hold on to trades. Let's see here. We went through, no, we did not go through all the major markets. And I see some questions in the chat. I'll try to get to those as well, but we got to talk about crude oil because Coach Paul, I don't know what they did. They got him again, but he would be saying, well, I would be saying for him. He said 2026 had the potential to be the year of crude oil. and it is continuing to do that. Daily ATR in crude is $1.58. Today we saw about $1.40. But crude has found a bid. Crude has found some buyers. I know a lot of stuff going on geopolitically. We made the low of the year so far in this J Trade daily candle, high volume, actually the highest volume of the year, closed above it, and we've been holding that VWAP, this yellow line, from that point. Maybe we're getting a little extended, but it's not stopping. It's not stopping. So crude been a decent trade as well. Still, some of the better trade location coming in that London session. The house account. Actually, I really love this short that we had because it's still crude oil, right? So we're not seeing these huge above average range days. So by the time we got into trading it this morning for the house account, we look at an opening range trade, which is a 1 minute opening range. Crude oil opens at 9 a.m. Eastern time, 8 a.m. Central time. And here's that candle. Closed below the low, actually closed right at the low. And the micros closed below the low. The big contract closed right at the low. And, that's just a function of choosing the market that you trade. But we had our stop above 63.50, which is a round number in crude. Crude likes to trade the 20s, the 50s, the 80s, and the whole numbers. And at 63.50, we saw some rejection up there. Whatever this spike was, traded right back up to 63.50. Price traded above, volume didn't. And just a beautiful trade right back down to the full session VWAP. Really nice trade here in crude oil. And then it found some buyers. Again, back above 63.50. Crude is starting to be an interesting market here for sure. For our friend CLA in the chat, what is a J trade? I've heard him mention that a couple of times. Let's see if I can find one and explain it. Well, we have one on crude oil on the daily. So what a J trade is, CLA, it's a reversal trade. It's a reversal though, and sometimes it looks like a 3-bar reversal. Sometimes it's going to be 5. If it starts to get any more than like 6 or 7, then we probably don't consider it. But if I look at since the beginning of the year, and this is on a daily, but you could do it on any time frame. I probably won't do it on anything less than a 3-minute chart again. But here's the year in crude oil. This candle right here was the highest volume that we had. The volume indicator behind my head here. Highest volume that we had on the year. And we close above it. Right? What makes this a J trade is the candle close above the highest volume at this low. Now, people ask all the time, even if we did this on a shorter time frame. And if anyone can, in the chat, if you saw a J trade today on a shorter time frame, any market, let me know what market, what time frame. But we close above this high. And now the idea is getting in long on the reversal, and my stop goes below this low. Now, in crude oil on a daily, this is almost $2.50 worth of risk, a little bit more. What I'm looking for on this trade is a 2-to-1. And even on this time frame, we got pretty close to a 2-to-1. What is the name of the volume indicator? It is just volume. Volume. I can pull up the settings really quick on that. Take a screenshot. Here's the style settings and the inputs. I have the volume moving average selected, and I changed this. So I think as a default, this shows up as a line. That never really made sense to me. So you change this to columns, and it looks a little better. All right. Let's see here. Did I get to all the questions? Coach, do you calculate ADR from settlement or New York opening print, or do you take the session opening print based on the session? Please help. So ADR for me, Genius Monkey, I look at average true ranges for the day. The session ranges, that's a Deanna thing, right? I asked Coach D about that. That is her specialty. I think she has indicators built for it. That's a lot of her trading strategy is based on that, the session, average session range. So if you're awake for the London Euro trade, ask Dee about it. If not, when she's on group coaching, make sure you ask some questions about that because that is her thing for sure. Um, all right. Any other questions that we got in the chat? I think we talked about most of the markets. I know we all. Oh, okay. Here we go. Juice Trading asked this before. Juice, you still in the chat? You still here? All right. Yeah, Juice is still here. Let's go. I know we all experienced tilt before. Can you discuss some techniques to recover from tilt? What are the early signs of tilt? Great question. Uh, I've experienced tilt. I experienced tilt this month. Like I said, at the end of the month, I think I'm going to do a recap of my trading for the month. But I experienced tilt on what day was that? I don't want to give away my my recap video. But what day was that? Let's see if we can find it here. January 12th. January 12th. Big tilt day for me. The techniques to recover from it is to make sure you have an account. Make sure you have an account. Coach Paul suggests that you don't lose any more than 12% of your drawdown in a day, and that should be a hard stop. Tilt it has the potential to happen to anyone, right? To me, I consider you guys remember when the all the hedge funds were going like these hedge funds were going under because of the GameStop trade. To me, that's tilt. Now, it sounds crazy. It's like, oh, how does a hedge fund go on tilt? How do they go under with that trade? That's tilt to me. Where's the risk management in this, right? You were probably over leveraged in one direction and the market goes against you and you can't control it. And now we're scrambling to try to get out of it. So understand that the markets are big enough to take anyone's money and everyone's money. And I'm not trading at a hedge fund. I don't know if you guys are and how deep your pockets are, but the money that we're trading here, you know, is pocket change. Pocket change. It's someone's commissions for the day sometimes, right? And just putting everything into perspective. But so biggest thing first off is making sure you have a loss limit set on your account and not lose. And I love the Coach Paul suggestion, more than 12% of your account. As your account grows, I think that number should decrease, right? 12% of a $4,500 drawdown is way different dollar-wise than 12% of $100,000, right? So at some point, those numbers are going to get to a point where you may not be comfortable losing that amount of money in a day. So I think it's okay to scale it down percentage-wise. Make sure you have that set in there. If you are the type of person who, you have to be right and one trade that goes against you is going to throw you off, then I think we need to assess our response to results in the market. One trade is throwing you off and you're wrong, you got to get over yourself, right? And I don't know if that's the case, but I've dealt with that before. So I'm just going to say it, right? One trade throws you off, you got to get over yourself. You're not that good. Even if you've made money, in the last week, right? You go on a winning streak for 10 days. I can do nothing wrong. You're not that good. So get over that. And then early signs of tilt, I think that's going to change for each person. And I actually think it's important to know what your own tilt triggers are and just look back. So journaling helps with this, right? Look back at all of your trading. If you're not journaling, start now. When do you go on tilt? What happens right before you go on tilt? Because that is a good way to mitigate the effects of tilt. For me, usually I go on tilt if I'm over leveraged, right? That's number one. And then a trade goes against me, or my other tilt trigger is when I call out a trade and I don't take it. Those two things will put me in a tilt cycle for sure. So how do you mitigate that? Got to get away. You either got to get away from your desk or you got to take a deep breath, something to kind of reset your mindset and just remind yourself that there's always going to be another trade, but you have to have an account in order to be there to trade it. My tilt day this year was a big ass hit to this XFA, bigger than 12%. The J that says, "Hey, I know better," came back out. We're all our own people at the end of the day, right? We know who we are. We look for all these patterns in the market and everything like that, but you got to identify patterns in yourself as well. But what I realized is like, hey, you're going down that path again. Hit the lockout button. I don't care what the number is. Hit the lockout button. You have to come back tomorrow. You cannot do this. And it's having that hard conversation. Again, it is difficult to do. I locked down that day with a pretty big loss, was not happy about it. It took me up to this point in the month to get it back. And now we're green on the month and I can forget about it, right? I remember what happened. I remember the steps that I took and said, hey, you know what? Regardless of what happens, I have to have an account to trade the next day. And you can recover from that. You can't recover if you don't have another account. You don't want to get in that reset cycle of, oh, I'm just going to do it again. That just feeds the system. Let's see. But yeah, identify what your tilt triggers are, and then you should feel it happening in real time. For me, and there was a question here from Ghosty. How do I journal properly? What we do on TopstepTV, where you see traders trading in real time, that was my journal. Before I got on TopstepTV, that was my journal for 3 years. I would just turn on OBS, record myself trading, and have to talk through the trades. I think that was the biggest sign for me of whether or not I was going on tilt. If I could talk through a trade like I was trying to teach somebody else how to do it, then I'm in a great spot because I'm not thinking about what I needed. I'm thinking about what, just assessing the market and then trading it from there. For me, when I got on tilt, I stopped talking. Right? I actually have videos of myself doing this. Maybe I'll share them one day. But I was trading. I stopped talking. Maybe I'm wearing a jacket. I take it off. Like it's starting to get hot. I'm sweating. I feel like I'm like running a race or playing a basketball game. Trading shouldn't feel like that, right? So if it does, that probably means that I'm doing something I shouldn't do, which is over leverage, over trading, right? I'm a trend trader. I'm a momentum trader. You know what puts me on tilt? Trading in choppy markets. That's why I scan. That's why you guys see me scan so much. I want to trade, right? But if I'm looking at the NASDAQ and it's stuck in a consolidation, it's not really giving me an opportunity. So if I'm taking trades in here, it's probably going to throw me on tilt, right? So just be aware of all those things. And John says, bro, I noticed I do something similar. It's a great sign. As soon as you start to feel that, step back from the desk, lean away from your desk. I used to tell people to do this all the time because I would do this. When I feel that feeling, I would just get out of my chair and lay on the floor and look at my screen. Sounds crazy, but so does losing way more money than you allotted for, right? So, and then you look at it, you're just like, what the hell am I doing, right? Like, who was the person that was just sitting in that chair about to make the dumbest decision for the day, right? So do something to kind of pull yourself out of the frame of having to make a decision and then reassess, get back to your game plan. That's the biggest thing, right? It's like a boxer, right? A boxer gets punched in the face with something they weren't expecting. If they just start swinging randomly, what's going to happen? You're probably going to get knocked out. Same thing in the markets. All right. But great question. Great question. And I think that might be it. All right. Well, we got coaches doing classes in Discord after this. Coach Hoop coming up at 6 p.m. Eastern Time. Coach Ray at 7 p.m. Coach Vince at 8. And then Dakota for slow markets tonight at 8:30. I will be joining him for slow markets. We did it, Billy. We did it. We have Aaron with the London Open, 2:30 Eastern, D with the Euro Trade, 4:30 Eastern Time, and then we're back for the opening call tomorrow, 8:15 Eastern Time. Anything for 200K subscribers, just stay tuned. We're going to do something. Might have got a little hint if you were watching Power Hour today. But just stay tuned. Another question here. Do you reduce your DLL after a losing day? Not just one. Not just one losing day. It has to be a series of losing days. I haven't had a series of losing days in a little while. I think since December, I think I've had one losing day a week. So it has to be multiple, maybe 2 or 3. Then I'll start to reduce it. But again, a function of that percentage, and it shouldn't be more than 12%. And I say shouldn't be because sometimes I break my own rules as well. Which the one thing I'll leave with this. Just understand that everything you do in your trading is a decision, right? Whether you make a ton of money, lose a ton of money, you blow up an account, look in the mirror. It is no one else's fault but your own. It's your own decisions. Robin Dane said it yesterday. She was like, men especially are drama queens when it comes to, and we use all this harsh language and things like that. Just understand that everything that you get from your trading, 99.9% of it is a result of your decision. Just make better ones, and make decisions in your best interest. It doesn't mean you're going to win all the time, but give yourself a chance to succeed at this because it's hard enough already. All right, but with that, I'm going to end it. Thanks for joining, everyone. I'm going to go try to find Coach Paul in the ether and figure out what's going on there. But we will see you all tomorrow. Trade well, manage your risk. If you haven't done so already, hit that thumbs up button.